In this live broadcast, we're going to be playing Evony the King's Return, answering some questions. I've had some subscribers from previous videos, some comments that they've left. If there's any live viewers, I'll also be answering their questions. My alliance has some questions, and I have some questions from other sources as well. So getting into the first one, someone was asking about power increase, more specifically being able to get more troops as quick as possible to be able to kill higher level bosses. So I'll do the broader question as well as talk about bosses themselves. The key thing in terms of building any power, you're going to need resources. Obviously you can attack other players, plunder their cities and get resources that way. So getting troop load research up, considering using, not only, but considering using at least quite a bit of siege when attacking them, using the Attila general, Emir, generals that are going to increase troop load, as well as adding skill books to them. But the more obvious ways are going to be producing resources in your main city and gathering. Personally, I've got one of each building for troop training building prerequisites, so you're going to need at least one of each building. So as you see here on the screen, I've got one quarry and one mine, but I mostly have farms and sawmill buildings so that I'm producing, when I've got the research to back up the producing of food and wood. Then I have research that's more centered around gathering ore and and stone instead of having to build the quarries. That is because research can be expensive, and I don't want to research 8 different things to gather 4 resources and produce 4 resources. It was better of an option for me at the moment to be producing 2 and gathering 2. You've got to bear in mind, at least with bosses, depending on it depends what type of troop you want to build. Gathering's probably going to be a little bit easier, so that's partly why I gather ore and produce the other ones, because ore is what you need primarily for cavalry, which is going to be useful against bosses, and it's going to be the troop type that you should be using exclusively. Ground is going to be taking up a lot of food. Archers here are going to be mostly wood, and then stone for siege. So bearing in mind what you want to build at any given time, to maybe build around that. Range is going to be a pretty good all-round attack, defense and stuff troop type. So you know, building around that is going to be good. Just remembering you're probably going to get more from gathering than producing. Just going to take a quick look at the researches I have to show you what I mean even more. So coming down here, I have advanced agriculture and advanced lumbering, so that's going to increase my production in city. And as you see, I've not done these ones, and it's the opposite with these ones here. So I've not done too much on these, but I've maxed these gathering ones out, and it's the same as you look down. I've done these ones, not these ones. I've not done these ones, but I've done these ones. And you can just kind of do that with 2 different resources that you feel is best. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. I'm not sure what the best of the best in the entire game do, but to me this seems like a pretty good way to do it, to get your research costs down when you're first starting out. Once you get a little bit larger and you can actually start doing all researches, maybe it would be better to focus on an extra resource in your city, but it's probably better to have more of these, because I think you could have up to 15 of these resource buildings, up to 10 army camps, and army camps are going to be good for training the troops as well, getting your troop training speed up. As you see, these ones give 9% per one that's level 19. So upgrading them is going to get your training speed up. We're getting those troops to do bosses and killing other players and so on, as well as using the training crown here on Monarch gear. If you have duties unlocked for any given building, clicking this icon and pointing at a general is going to give you troop training buffs. Also, another key thing that you're going to need is time, or to use speed ups instead. And to get speed ups as a free player, obviously you can straight up purchase them or participate in events do activities through the tavern building, which I'll get into in terms of getting gems in a moment. But another way is going to be killing monsters and killing boss monsters. You can kill the boss monsters, or you can join a larger alliance on your server and go ahead and click the alliance tab, click Alliance War, and you can choose to join boss rallies, just like you got a Junior Knight Barnyard, which is, or Bayard, I'm not sure is that. That will give you gold, and I think they might give you speed ups potentially. The Griffin here should give about 8 hours of speed ups, or maybe more per one. And if you're a smaller player, all you would do is you click here, you click this, you click this, click a join Alliance War, you click reset on this, and then you send one mounted, and then click March. As long as your March is March times lower than this time, then you'll be able to join in time. You'll get the rewards without having to really partake in the battle. Remembering to change your general to the one that you want to be using, the one you want to be leveling up, as well as potentially using generals that increase luck or double item drop rates. That's going to get you even more speed ups, which is going to be actually through opening the boss chests that will come up in your inventory after killing them. You can obviously kill the bosses yourself as well, but it is usually a good etiquette to click Alliance War on them instead of just attacking them outright. This will allow your alliance members to join your battle and to also enjoy the same rewards that you're getting. Other power increase opportunities are going to be trap power, so getting the researchers up for trap capacity so you can train more. You see I'm pretty much at my capacity here. Training your highest level traps, as you see I only have the highest 4 here trained. Dismissing the lower ones and then getting the higher ones is going to get you that power up. I did want to mention with actually hitting the bosses and getting the power, I just wanted to mention one more time the user mounted, both for joining rallies with just one troop and attacking them. Don't try to mix your march or anything like that. And also maybe come into the rally spot building here, make a preset. So just click one of these depending on how many you have unlocked, and set a preset with the general or no general, it doesn't matter, with one mounted to make it very easy to join boss rallies without having to manually pick one troop every single time, and that will help you do those quicker. Building power and research power is going to be another way, as well as defending general power by assigning a general to defense gen, which you also should have one in here at all times. That will help you, but research power and building power will go up quite slowly in comparison to the other two, which is traps and troop power, but they're very key ones. I have 2-3 million at the moment research power, but you can get up to like 8-10 million or something like that. I've got a ways to go yet. Moving on to the next thing, I've got some questions about, it's a little more basic, but I've got some questions about the historic city searching. So you come into the event center, this is going to be for subordinate city searching. So you can get them through resource gathering, monster kill, and purchasing packages. And you'll be able to come in here. You can see when the winner will be announced for each of these subs. And there's multiple tabs with multiple different subs available of different cultures which have different buffs. I do have a video for that, subordinate city video, that will touch on each of the buffs that are available, how to get them, and so on. And that's going to be something to bear in mind as well. Just because an epic is better than the legendary that you see here, and the legendary is better than the excellent, so they're all color coded. Cultures matter, so getting a legendary of Korea might not be as good as getting an excellent for America. I mean, you have to kind of decide that yourself, because Korea I think is gathering speed or something like that, and then America's research speed, so there's completely two different things there. But in terms of actually doing this, you would come in here, you would click bet, as long as you have enough clues to be able to do it, and that will get your win rate up. And this is the amount I've bet on this one so far, and this is the total amount that everyone on this server has bet on it, and it will just be randomly chosen like a lottery in terms of who's going to win. each one. If you are a player that's doing just free play, you're not buying any packages, you're probably going to be better sticking with blue or maybe purples of the one you want. Wait until closer to the end of the event so you can see which ones have a low amount of total clues on them, so you have a better chance of betting on just one and winning. And obviously each different round will be drawn at a different time, so you can keep that in mind as well. So if for instance you wanted this Japan legendary, you could purposely just wait in between 5 days and 9 hours from now and the 13 hours, so that everyone's already used all of their clues on these lower ones, and then you can go ahead and put it on number 6 instead. That could be a good strategy also. If I've missed out on any points there and anyone has questions, if you're viewing this video as a video, just like recorded video after, that's automatically uploaded by YouTube, feel free to leave any comments about this and other things down below, or even unrelated to any topic in this video. I'll get back to you. If you're a live viewer, feel free to ask questions about this and whatnot, and I'll include that in this video as well. Now, while we're on the topic of subs, there are sub generals that you should be using. There are ones that are going to increase gold and construction speed and so on, but you probably don't want those as much, especially don't really buy them. If you get one for free for whatever reason, through an event or whatever, maybe consider keeping them for a little while. But the ones you're going to want is like Nero, that reduces enemy troops HP. When it says increase here, you're not going to be able to get a full effect if they're in a sub-city. If it says reduces, it's reducing an enemy stat, then it's going to work. So if I have a Nero in a sub-city mayor position, and I attack or defend a city or my city, or attack someone else's city, then as long as he's a part of the battle by ticking it on in the sub-city tab, if I'm defending or if I'm attacking in the March preset thing that I set up, this sub being a part of the battle, then he's going to reduce the troops' enemy HP by 15%. And that will be a full stat as long as your keep level isn't too different from this. And that's just going to allow you to get a ton of stats of theirs down, and you can have multiple Neros. You can have some other generals that I can show you in a moment as well. And just remembering anything that says increases is just not going to work, and so you want those reduces one. So another one as well down here is Gustavus. Some of his is an increase, that won't work, and reduces will. Some people will use him as a defense general also, so something to keep in mind if you do get him. This is another one. He's not in the tavern, but he reduces. Then you have these two here. So Arminius is going to reduce ground troop and mounted troop HP, and also some range and so on. And this guy is going to be range troop attack is going to go down, and other things you can read yourself on your own game. I have a few Andrew Jackson that's going to reduce enemy troop ranged and HP and stuff. I'm trying to read some of these things too quickly, so I'm messing my words up a little bit, but we're just going to skip through to Russia here. So you got Nevsky that I've got a couple of that's going to reduce also. And another main one like Nero that people like to use is Empress, because she reduces all enemy troops defense by 15% and ground an additional 15%. So she's quite good. And while we're in this building, we'll just quickly go through some generals people like to use. So Gustavus, you can see people using him on defense. Some of these debuff generals that I just showed, people might use on defense in some cases. Alfred's pretty new. He's not in the tavern right now, but he's going to be ranged troop attack and siege machine, which people like to use on defense and attack, and his base stats are pretty good also. So if you get him, he can be used on defense or attack, although I believe some of his specialties down here only work on attack, but I'm not sure. I'm not really going to touch on specialties at the moment, but that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're Monarch level 25 or above, that's going to start to kick in and help you out as well. So something to keep in mind when selecting what general you'd like to use. Joseph E. Johnson is going to be used on defense quite a lot by people. He's very good. He's not in the tavern, but his base stats are pretty decent, and he's going to boost range and siege attack and some HP of mounted, I believe. This guy here can be used on attack or defense if you really have to. He's probably not a top choice necessarily, but he's pretty good as well. Fairly high attack in comparison to some that you would use on defense, and he still has siege stats. That's always good. Range troop for Minamoto. People use him on attack all the time. He's not in the selection of ones in the tavern, but you do get him. He's good again. I've got this one. He's not in the tavern. Again, ranged siege. It's quite good, and because he has two different stats within the same thing, that means you can actually add an additional ranged troop attack to this general, and that's going to apply to any general that has any more than one. Whereas if you get a Jumong, you can't add an additional ranged troop attack to him, for instance, even though you can to the other one I just showed you. There's something to keep in mind. Jumong is pretty good though, if he does come up in the tavern. Li Shimin is probably the best one you can get in the tavern for attack, range troop attack up, march size, always good. Again, always check out the specialties that are available as well. That's going to matter in the long run. You can use Dimitri in terms of reinforcing allies. You know, he's going to be for range and so on as well. Just to go through a couple more in the others section, you got Prince Rhaegar. Trajan's going to be good for ground troops. You got these two here for defense. I'm using this one right now. It's pretty good. And also Electra. I just wanted to go back to another ground one. I'm not sure if I showed this one earlier. I may have forgotten. But this one's probably going to be the best available for ground troops. As you see, he's boosting a lot of stats there. And his base stats are pretty nice also. I'm just going to quickly touch on troop layering. It's a question I've had. I'm not an expert on this one, but I clicked the wrong button there. As you see, I currently have like 1,000 of each. I mean, it's not really going to do much for me, but I did it anyway just to get started. But having 10, 100,000 of each of every tier of every troop type is going to help you save your higher level troops to some degree. It's just going to help you out on defense and attack. I'll probably go through that in a later video, and so make sure you subscribe and like and everything, and keep checking back to when I have that video out. That's going to go into in depth a little bit more on that. But just building up those lower tiers is going to help you out. Save those higher tier troops, especially if you have T12 and perhaps even T13 on defense. To actually have a ton of T12 and then to layer troops underneath that. I think people say about 10% or so of your overall troop amount to be layered or something to that degree. But there are websites and Facebook groups and so on out there that are going to have a little bit better information than I have on it. So do your own research and look out for those, especially the Facebook groups where you can ask plenty of experienced people questions about things like troop layering. Another question I get quite a lot, and I do have a video on it to some degree, that's the activity one that I have to do with truce agreements as well, is just getting gems, and you're going to be getting it through activity to some degree. If you come in here, click the tabs, you find out what you need to do the activities. It's good to do this because you're going to get gold and speed ups and materials and so on through this method as well. So yeah, and just click on these, find out what you need to do, and get the activity points. So the last one here is going to give 200 gems. Not too much, but over a 7-day week, that's going to add up quite a lot because this resets every day, so you can do it every single day. You can also, I think you can get some through this chest here. I guess not at the moment, but make sure you always claim those. Those are the free rewards that are on there. There's gem mines on the world map that you can gather from. When your server's 60 days old, you're top 10 in the Alliance Power rankings. You can compete in the battlefield. So there's Battle of this one, I can't say that, and then also there's one that starts with G. Okay, they're both on there right now, so these are both available. You got Monarch competitions and server Monarch competitions. These are going to run every single week. The one that's on right now, the current event out of 5 events, is killing enemies. That one's going to last 2-3 days or whatever it is. The other one's going to last a day. The other ones that you have are power increase, troop training, city building or something like that, resource gathering, and they're each going to give, depending on your scores, that you can check out how to get scores down here. So for this one, killing enemy troops, if you get this top score amount by doing bottom stuff here, you're going to get gems. In addition, if you have a good stage or total ranking for that particular stage, or the entire week, then you're going to get extra gems and other rewards. So always check in here and try to get at least the top of this bar, so fill this bar up fully. Because I haven't participated in this event at the moment, I have absolutely no scores, so this will go up in gold. Just while we're here, the Viking challenge is going to be good for gold also, so do check that out. Other methods of getting gems is world boss is going to be every week. As you see, mine's going to show up in about 2 days and 13 hours. When that shows up, I'm going to go to the world map, go to the bottom left icon that also says world map, and then find the red glowing icon, like the little bookmark icon, and that's where the world boss is. And I'll send 5 attacks at it. I'll send probably 1. It depends. If you're a bigger player, maybe you want to send 5 full marches and try to get the highest possible score, so that you can get extra rewards from being in the leaderboards, and also alliance scores are going to get you additional gems. So maybe consider going into your city buffs in your keep, applying attack buffs, defense buffs, HP buffs, and doing all of that kind of thing to be able to get the highest score on the world boss. If you didn't want to do that, if you're a smaller player, you can consider just sending 100 troops 5 times to the world boss every week, I believe for about 1,000 gems per week and some gold. Undead invasion, so your alliance leader can come in here. There'll be a participate button in green here when it begins in 2 days, 2 days 13 hours, similar to the world boss in terms of when it starts, but 20 waves of undead will be sent against your city, and you have to defend against those. You can click this information icon to learn more about it. As long as you don't lose 2 rounds, you'll be able to do all 20. If you lose two rounds, then you'll be out, and you can get scores by reinforcing teammates if you're out of the battle or you have spare troops. And you can just check out my other video for more information on it, but you're going to get plenty of gems from just scores, individual ranking, and alliance ranking every single week. Again, as I said before, gathering gems from gem mines on the world map is also going to get you those. If there's any troubles with those things, again, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And we'll see if I can help you get gems in any other ways. I'm sure I'm forgetting of some at the moment, but we'll move on to the shrine, which is going to be good for getting your daily rewards up. So as you see right here, I have 2,000 gems that I'm going to get here and 500 gems for the first day. So let's just login rewards. And you also get a 24-hour bubble here. The only way that I've got those is by unlocking the advanced daily rewards in the offer section of the shrine, because I've offered 7 tributes or more in the week. That means for the free players, you would come in here, you would click offer. Originally, at the start of the day, it will cost 25 gems for the first one. So even as a free player, at least do it once, up to maybe 8 times a day. It kind of depends how much gems you have and how much you're willing to spend. But at least once a day, twice a day would be pretty good. And then you'll be able to get the advanced daily rewards. In addition, Monarch XP and Prestige. The Prestige is going to be helpful for getting your rank up. So as you see, it's going to go from like 20,000, 65, 165, 350, 700,000. The last one is going to give you these buffs that I have not unlocked yet, but training speed, march speed, and so on. The key thing being subordinate city capacity. By having more capacity, you can get more sub-cities. That means more gold, more troop power, and the ability to use additional generals in battle. So like debuff generals, so that reduces troop HP and so on. That's going to be helpful. And the other things are obviously very good also. And there's other rewards depending on which level you're at, so they're going to be lesser. But going through that, doing boss rallies and so on will get you prestige also, as well as killing regular monsters. In addition, as you see here, I have tributes, so I have 75 of those. How I've gotten those is I do monarch events and so on to get alliance points, as well as I come into alliance science each day. I max this timer out to 3 hours and 59 minutes, and then I top it up once it goes below, I think 3 hours and 39 minutes. And then you just kind of keep it below that 4-hour mark. If you go above that, then you're going to be locked out from donating until the timer goes completely to 0. If you don't make it go red, then you're going to be able to keep donating throughout the day whilst you're awake. So maybe when you're asleep, make it red then by donating over the 4-hour mark. By doing that, you're going to get points to spend in the Alliance shop. You can see the total amount here, and you can buy tributes in here. That's how I've got my tributes. Probably save up at least 50, perhaps 300 if you can. Then come into the shrine, offer, maybe 10 times or something, maybe even a little bit more, maybe 15 if you have the gems to do it. If you don't, then just offer the tributes. It's still similar, but it is best to actually use the gems first, 15 or so, and then use all your tributes, and that will get your prestige level up, your monarch level up, as well as, again, doing boss rallies is going to help with that. Just some tips for people that are purchasing in terms of what I do. Maybe it's not the best thing to do, but I've found it to be pretty good for getting my research up, for getting additional channels and so on, is if you spend $5 a day or just $5 at any given time on the event packs, which is going to be the basic amount for those, I believe, or maybe if you haven't spent too much, maybe you can get them in a lesser amount, I'm not sure. But buying any pack that is worth 1,000 basic gems, such if I click this one, it's 2,500 at the moment. Don't claim the super fund that comes up when you buy it. Come down here, limited time promotion, and wait until this event timer is in between 3 and 2 hours. When that goes to 0, it will reset to 4 hours. After 1 hour, it will be in between the 3 and 2 hour mark, and that's when, instead of speed ups being available here, you will have gold available and research speed ups. That's going to help you do that research and perhaps even get generals or upgrade your generals and gear and so on. There's also, if you wanted to, you could get the speeds one if that's what you wanted instead. In about 16 minutes, when this timer goes below 1 hour, it'll be resources. When it goes back to 4 hours, it will be materials for general gear and so on. So you can kind of pick. It doesn't have to be gold, but that's the one I go for. In addition, I levy with the gems that I get from the pack. So it says 37 here because of my keep level and so on. At the start of the day for me, it says 255 levy times, and I only do 200 a day. That's because if I do the extra 55, it costs this amount for this amount of gold. When I do 200 at the beginning of the day, it's about 15,800 gems or so, and I will get about 14.8 million gold. So I will get about 10 million more gold basically for the same amount of gems, more or less, than this. So I just do that many times a day. How I got that green number next to it so high is in my research here. In advancement, I did coinage research, which is going to increase your levy amount. If you are not a spender using levy very much, then probably don't actually do this, because it may cost too much gold to max this coinage out. If you are a spender, I definitely recommend it. Obviously, for those non-spenders, while we're talking about gold, you can do the Viking event in the event center, which I think is like every couple of weeks or something like that, or maybe it's every week, I'm not sure. You can do that. Goblins and gold goblins on the world map you can kill. The knights, that is a special event, you can kill those when they're active. Doing battlefield. There's probably a couple other things I'm forgetting, but make sure you go into inventory and open up all your boxes for speed ups, resources, and so on. When I say resources, I mean don't actually open all of your resources because you don't want them to be plundered. Only open what you need to use at the given time. I'm just going to quickly go through Battlefield while we're talking about that also. So if you go to this one in particular, you can come to the information icon, you can read up about it. Again, you have to be top 10 Alliance power. There's a few other requirements that you can read up on by coming in here and clicking on the same button. You can read the rules, you can read the scoring, what each building will do. And basically when the event starts, you'll be able to come to this icon, click enter battlefield, you'll be teleported into a safe area that's basically like, I'm not sure if it's the same size or like a mini version of the regular map. It'll be completely bare, and just these buildings will be dotted around. If you go to the world map, you'll be able to see that. These are the kind of buildings, so you get it's kind of just like the throne building. There's some huge crystal mines in comparison to the regular mines, they're huge. Portals and so on. Key buildings to keep an eye out for is going to be the portals. That's going to get you additional teleport chances for your alliance, which is necessary because once you run out of those, then you're all going to be stranded, and your alliance members that are in the battle that last 2 hours are not going to be able to move, which is not going to be fun, and may cause you to lose. It depends. And the battlefield hospital also, your troops, I'm pretty sure they can't die at all, even if they aren't accounted for in your hospital capacity. But it will cost you not resources but speed ups to be able to get your troops back into battle if they're killed by the enemy. And so to get this building occupied and getting the increased healing speed is going to be very good also. And again, you can read up about all of this in here, ending on the particular time and stuff like that. You may not see these in here, you might have to wait a little while and then they'll come up and then you can click on them, get the information icon. And again, even my server's not eligible for this at the moment, so you have to bear that in mind, that you need a 60-day-old server to be able to actually compete in that. I just wanted to go through some key researches also, just really quick. So building speed, like construction, getting, like I was talking about before, agriculture and lumbering up, or if you wanted to get some other resources, doing a different combination, as well as these ones for research speed, construction speed, gathering speed, perhaps troop load, coinage for those spenders for sure. And again, this is going to be kind of copied down here, where they're just called super instead. Defense, getting maybe these two up. If you're specializing in a couple traps for any given reason, maybe only max 2 of them out, or 3, or whatever it is. And archer tower ones like marksmanship, defense capacity is going to get your trap capacity up. Crafting speed is going to be good. More archer tower, more capacity. And a very key one here is hospital capacity. When your troops are not covered by the hospital, you're not going to be able to get those troops to be saved. Unfortunately, if you get your city attacked or you attack another player, you might become a little unstuck if you don't get that hospital capacity up through upgrading the building. And this research, there's other researchers that we'll take a look at in a moment also. And another key research is the trap triggering rate. It's going to matter if you have high stats, you're a trap. It's not going to matter so much if you don't have a trap triggering rate increase. Military, you wanted to kill bosses, maybe think about going after cavalry first in the research, perhaps even tracing. Maybe sticking to HP and attack stats a little bit more than defense when you're getting started at least. Maybe ignoring siege in the beginning, but siege will become good later in the game. And ranged are going to be pretty good for defense and attack. Again, cavalry for bosses. Getting the extra march slot where possible. It is very expensive though for those newer players. And just in medical aid now. Doesn't seem to want, let me do that. You got super hospital scale, that's going to get your hospital capacity up also. Healing speed and so on, you can go through here and just check out a more hospital scale. Alliance help time and help amounts is going to help, and maybe even Alliance resource spot gathering speed up. And if you're planning on reinforcing people, you could get these stats up also. That's going to help you when doing that. You can get these construction speed and material production up potentially. All of these matter, remember. I'm just kind of going through some that may be a little bit better. Also in city HP and so on, it's going to be good for those. Getting your horn capacity up and production and just general capacity anyway for your Holy Palace is going to add to your hospital and its ability to save your troops from permanent death. I wanted to quickly touch on some tactics, I guess, for attacking. Not too much, but remember when attacking people in kill events in server versus server, maybe not going to apply as much to Battlefield because you can't bubble, but attacking them and being very ready to bubble again is going to be key. When you teleport next to someone, which is what you want to do, you don't want to attack them from very far away. Teleport next to them, have a preset ready by going to the rally spot like I showed earlier to set one up to be ready to attack them instantly. You don't want to sit there selecting your troops. Make sure you have a defense general on and so on to defend your city just in case, but attack the person and then bubble instantly, and perhaps even scout them as well, just for extra measure. Also, that will apply in Battlefield as well as other, like server versus server and your regular server. Ghosting your troops, so setting 60-minute alliance rallies against bosses or another player's city. Protect your troops. If you set those rallies, those troops will disappear and they won't be able to be killed. So if someone attacks your city, they will just maybe capture or kill your general, your defense general, unless you take them off. They might kill some of your traps and they'll probably lose more power than you do. And that's just going to be a good way to save yourself from being killed. And it can also be a way to mess with people and so on. And again, those presets are going to be very good for making use of that if you wanted to cancel a rally and then very quickly attack someone. If you're doing some kind of trickery like that. I think with that I'm going to end this stream. Thank you for all those questions, and I hope I've answered them in the best way I can. If there's any questions about the things that I've answered here, or any additional questions people have, or would like to see in another live stream or just a regular video, do let me know down below. I'll be sure to reply. And again, thanks for watching.